Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Is this an expensive fight to make? What do you guys think? Before I get more into the video, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more boxing and please hit that like button. It helps out the video, it helps out the channel. I'd really appreciate it. So, the reason why I bring up, I asked you guys if you guys think this fight's an expensive fight to make, is because Michael Benson, who writes for Talksport.com, recently quoted Mr. Tim Smith, who was recently on the PBC podcast. Tim Smith works for PBC. This is him. If you guys don't know, you've probably seen him if you follow, behind the scenes stuff when it comes to PBC events. Tim Smith's right there. Sometimes, not all the time, but he's not really that out there in the limelight. But anyway, he works for PBC, and he was recently quoted by Mr. Michael Benson that he said that on why, what's stopping the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight. And he said, economics. I quote, he said, economics. You don't want to insult Crawford, but he hasn't been built into a pay-per-view star. Nobody wants to make him an offer that's insulting. The numbers won't be enough to give him what he wants. It's somewhat of a slight insult to Top Rank too, and how bad they've promoted Crawford, because he says right there he hasn't been built into a pay-per-view star. I don't know, there's just something. I mean, whenever he fights on regular ESPN, it does what, 1 million views, right? Then he fought Amir Khan on pay-per-view, then it did less than 100,000 pay-per-view buys, I believe, or somewhere around that number. And he fought Porter, and I think it did less than 200,000 pay-per-view buys. The pay-per-view model these days, it's different. It's gone are the days of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao doing their 1 million plus pay-per-view numbers. I don't think the only person right now that can do that is Canelo Alvarez. And I don't know, it can be a tough sell to the casual fan base, but to the hardcore fans, it's a fight that we are willing to pay for. It's a fight that we want to see, so we are obviously willing to pay for this. The reason why a lot of these pay-per-views are not selling too well lately is because nobody's really asking for them. And with the technology these days, with everybody having a phone and you can watch through your phone, and with internet on your phone, and with people streaming it illegally, it's not hard to watch it free. And if you have that choice, people would usually just watch it for free, because you're making us pay for these fights that nobody's asking for. But if you do give it to us, we will be willing to pay for it. And I'm sure this fight, it's definitely, this fight won't sell. It won't sell more than 300,000 pay-per-view buys. It won't sell that. It won't sell more than 1 million pay-per-view buys, I should say. But it would probably sell around 300,000 pay-per-view buys, or up to 500,000 pay-per-view buys, depending on how well it's promoted. But yeah, they can pay the fighters, but I guess they just have to find, the sponsors willing to pay for it. I don't know, maybe PBC can't pay him enough. There's a lot of rumors floating around that PBC doesn't really have the funds that they used to. That hence why they put Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin on pay-per-view, and that's why they're putting Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios on pay-per-view, due to the lack of funds that they currently have compared to before. So yeah, it's a fight people want to see. People will pay for it. So obviously, don't overpay the fighters, but pay them a guarantee that's reasonable, and a share from the pay-per-views that's reasonable. I mean, I'm not a businessman, I'm just a fan of the sport, but at the end of the day, I think most of us, all of us, want to see this fight. If you don't want to see this fight, I don't know what to say to you. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And like always, have a great day. Alright, thanks.